Hello, everyone. My name is Tara, and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel, I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video, I wanted to share my personal and family life updates and events and the signs that I saw along the way. Right now, it is December 21st, 2025. It is the winter solstice. And I am thinking about my brother because when he was a kid, probably around 7 or 8 years old, we always joke about it in our family that he had woken up in the middle of the night, probably just dreaming of something he learned in school, and he shouted out, "It's the winter solstice." And he actually was accurate. It was the night of the winter solstice, and my parents and I thought it was so funny because we all heard him scream that night when he was sleep talking. And whenever it's the winter solstice, I always think about that. It's also a really exciting night for me because it's December 21st. We only have 4 days away from Christmas, but besides the holiday, it is my daughter's 22nd month milestone, and I love it because I love angel numbers, and I love that she's turning 22 months on December 22nd. And that also, I didn't even think about it, but I'm looking at the video and I'm wearing the shirt that my friend and my colleague gave me back in 2022 when we were teaching together. And it says teaching second grade on Tuesday, 2/22/22. And I love this shirt also, not only for the year that we were spending a lot of time working and collaborating together, but also because little did I know 2 years on this exact date of the shirt, my daughter would be born on 2/22/24. And so that has a lot of special meaning to me as well. And so that's some backstory that I was excited to share, but I also just wanted to say I am just so pumped to be doing this video because I have had so many technical difficulties for the last 4 to 5 months. If you have seen my past video in August, I was even talking about it then that my USB ports weren't recognizing any external hard drives or cords, and I wasn't able to save my videos or my photos, family photos, onto my computer or onto anything. And so I wasn't able to have any room or storage left on my phone to do videos or to edit videos in any way that I needed. And that had been really frustrating to me, but I was so busy with the move with my family that all of that transitional items and things that we had to get done were taking priority over the videos anyway. And but there were so many things that I just had wished I could have got on film the day or the week that they happened, because with the transition I didn't have access to my calendars, they were in boxes somewhere, so I wasn't able to write my notes down. And there's just been so much that has been happening, and I'm just so happy to be able to finally document it and to be back on my channel again. And so I am wanting to have the goal of updating all of the August, September, October, November, and December weeks before the end of the year. And for someone who hasn't been able to be consistent in the last 4 months, that's a lot because we only have 10 days left in the year, but I'm super motivated to do it. I personally want to have these memories on my YouTube channel and on just personal videos so that I can look back at them and know that I didn't just fizzle out at the end of the year, and that I was determined to share my memories, but more than just the memories, just the synchronicities that happened and all of the special occasions that were wonderful surprises and just continued to give me hope and faith and see that everything really is connected in this invisible web, and how I just love sharing that with the world. And so I hope you also find enjoyment, or for those of you who don't see me on a regular day-to-day basis anymore because I'm not in White River Junction, maybe this will be some familiarity for you and some, I don't know, some time with Tara. And so I miss everyone in White River. I wanted to give a big shout out to all the people during this holiday season that I no longer see, but I think about all of you every day, and I miss you all, and I hope everyone is taking care, not just the people that I know, but anyone who comes across my videos or this video. I hope you're enjoying the holiday season. I hope that, as hectic and chaotic as it can be, I hope you've been finding ways to be happy and enjoy your time with your friends or your family. And so in this video, I am hoping to just go through some highlights of my first week in August, and then the next video will hopefully be the second week and so on through August. And I'm hoping to get through all the weeks all the way until December, and that may not be until New Year's, but that is my goal. So the first week of August, and I've talked about August 1st through 3rd really in detail on, I think it was the video on October 1st. I was wearing a blue car show t-shirt in that, and I go into extreme detail because it was such a crazy end of the transition at our apartment, moving in with my parents, and I wanted to remember every little thing that happened. So I'm just kind of going to go skim through that section, but I am going to say August 1st is my brother's birthday, and so that was a big thing on my mind that day. And I was also really excited because that day my husband had been living with my parents for the month of July. He came back that last night. We were in the apartment together. We got a fancy dinner out at a restaurant called The Time Restaurant, which has excellent food. And it was just an excellent family night to cherish during that last night in our home that we had made for 10 years. But after we went out to dinner, it was a hectic rest of the night trying to load and pack up our cars and clean and get ready to move out the next morning. And so that the next morning was chaotic. We had a lot of people coming into the apartment to clean the floors. We had a carpenter come in to look at any of the things that needed to be fixed or updated. We had to check out with the landlord that was considered the landlord for Vermont because our original landlord's from California. There was just so much. It was such a hectic day. But I got to see some friends that I hadn't seen in maybe half a year because we were all so busy with finishing up our school years. I really had wanted to see another friend of mine, Joyce, who is the librarian at the school that I used to work at, and unfortunately that didn't happen that last couple of days we were there, and I really had wanted that to happen, but she is the main person that had always supported me and encouraged me to continue doing the videos. And she is also the person that I thought of most when I was having technical difficulties, because not only is she the librarian, she's also the technical person. And so I'm so excited to be able to do this video and to show that I've finally had time to just figure out what was going on with my USB ports, and she had been texting me, and she is always a massive help to me. And so, but not being in person, it's a lot harder to be able to help someone. So I am just so thrilled. And so that day I didn't get to see her, but I was thinking of her the whole time I was driving home. And I was thinking about my next door neighbor. I was thinking about all my colleagues and all my friends that I had made in the area. but I was also thinking about how exciting the next chapter would be, to be able to be with my parents for a month and just have family time. And that really did become my cocoon. I feel like not just August was my cocoon, but literally the last 5 months have been my cocoon. And I feel like personally it was just the rest and the recharging that I need, even though it was hectic and chaotic, trying to get settled, trying to organize, also trying to declutter. And even though we moved into a house, from being in an apartment, for some reason, it felt like our apartment had way more closet space and storage than this house, because it just felt like we had no, every nook and cranny we were trying to organize so that we didn't feel like there was clutter. So it was really funny, and it's felt really nice to be able to just eliminate things that we no longer need. And so that has been a big transition in itself. But anyway, back to the first week in August. Um, the Another big highlight was that on August 2nd, we went back to my parents' house. We were still celebrating my brother's birthday because it was the same weekend. And his best friend, who surprised him, came over to visit. And this best friend of his is like a brother to me. They were always together when we were growing up. And um, it was just like having family back. And not only did we get to have his best friend Joseph, but we got to see his sister and her partner and her best friend as well, because they were all camping close by in a local hiking trail and camping area, and they had no idea that Joseph was going to be coming home. So it was a big reunion for everyone, and it was the excitement and the pump up that I needed, because I was feeling all the emotions of sadness, excitement, and um, just just nostalgic for our old home. But having my brother's birthday and the surprise visit from Joseph and seeing his family members and their friends, and it was just such a high energy level night, and it completely got rid of the exhaustion that we were all feeling. And my husband unfortunately had come from a very long appointment that he had been in for like 5 to 7 hours, and so he came late to that celebration. But he was really excited to see Joseph and to relax and enjoy the company of all the guests that we had in the house. And so that was really fun. And let's see, I have notes because it's been so long. I'm just looking down quickly to see all of that. So through the August 3rd to the 7th, I really had just been going to the post office, trying to make sure that our mail and everything was set. I was worried that our White River mail wasn't going to be able to get transferred over to us in time enough to pay bills and to make sure there was a smooth transition with all of the financial stuff. And I also was, both my husband and my husband's car, actually I think it was my car that was due earlier, but we both needed our inspections done. We both needed work done on our cars before the end of the month, and so I was trying to get those scheduled. My mom was helping me. We were trying to get doctors and dentists all scheduled and transferred for us to be patients at those facilities. And the other thing that I noticed is watching home videos right before I did this YouTube video is that my mom had done a really fun pillow setup in her house for Juniper, because they have a lot of hardwood floor. There's one big carpet area, and so, but there's this table that has wooden kind of like sharp angles to the wood square pegs at the bottom. And I remember looking at the videos, and she had set all these pillows up across the wood. She had put the pool noodles that we used for our playpen on the glass table that their TV stand is on, so that when Juniper would be walking around, if she hit her head, it wouldn't be on glass, it would be on the pool noodle. And my parents were just so happy and excited to have time with their granddaughter and to have us. And it was just so special, everything that my parents did to support us in that transition. And I know they have always been my sanctuary, and that house has always felt like a piece of heaven for me. Honestly, it was, I had lived in a different house on Lake Dunmore from when they adopted me all the way till I was 13. And then I turned 14 in the new house that I'm talking about, all the way up to now when I'm 37. Well, obviously, I didn't live there in my late 20s or 30s, but whenever we go back to visit, I have just so many memories of even just being a teenager in that house. And the reason that they even decided to get that house, not only for the excellent neighbors and the land that they would have, and just my mom loves being outside. She loves hiking. She loves cross country skiing and downhill skiing. Same with my dad. My dad loves downhill skiing. And so we get to do a lot of that in their property, and snowshoeing, and we see loads of animals. And I remember when we pulled up to that house, when we were looking at different houses that they were thinking of buying, I just felt like this was the house. This was where we would be living the rest of our life as a family. And I was just so excited when they decided that they felt the same way. And so just having that transition of being out of the apartment, I never realized, like, well, I mean, I did realize every time we visited, but to be at that house for a full month, it really made me feel like we had been living in a box in the apartment, because Juniper got to go outside every day. It was the first time really that she got scars on her knees, because she could run around in the grass and play in the driveway with her little Flintstone car that they got her. And it was just, we could see nature, and we could be outside in their screened-in porch, and we had just the peacefulness of the forest, and the bunnies and the birds and the deer. And especially at night, I love watching the fireflies. That always, even as a kid, and still as an adult, it always seems so magical when the sun is setting and the evening is getting a little darker, and then the fireflies come out. It just feels magical. It always has for me. And to have that the whole month of August was just wonderful. It was such a gift. And um, so I just cherished every day that we had at their house. And it brought back so many memories of being a kid with them. And then I'll just wrap this video up. I do want to try to make shorter videos, but they probably will end up being half-hour videos. The 7th of August, my husband didn't, during this time period, from the job that he didn't always get weekends off. And so he would skip every other weekend to have off. And then on the weeks, he would have Monday off, and then he'd have a Thursday off if he didn't get the weekend off. And so we took a trip up to Burlington to the Echo Center and took Juniper to the museum and did all the hands-on activities. She got to see all the history and the different types of fish in the lake. And we also got to have a nice lunch out on the lake at a marina. And it was just a beautiful day. The weather was amazing. And it was the first time that my husband and me and my daughter, had time to just be relaxed outside of the move, but also like as much as I loved living with my family and my parents, having that quality, just immediate family time was really special too that day. And it was just, it also felt like we hadn't gotten to the ocean this summer. And so it was really nice to be near a body of water. And that was just, it just made my day. And so I'll stop here. And then I will continue in the next videos talking about the week 2, 3, and 4 of August, and then hopefully try to get the rest of the weeks of all the other months. But I miss everyone. I hope you're all taking care, and I love you all. Bye.